What is going on, comic fans? Welcome back to the channel. I'm back. My exile is over. We finally got reconnected after Hurricane Helene. It has been 3 weeks, but we're going to dive in right where we left off. If you caught my Hurricane Helene video, you know what I've been excited about and why this blackout has hurt so much. So let's not waste any time. This is going to be a loaded video, so let's get into it. As always, huge shout out to the sponsors. Check the description below. You can find links to Big Time Collectibles, JustinComicx for cleaning and presses, or the Augusta Book Exchange to set up a pull list if you don't have a shop anywhere near you. So this is it, guys. We're going right back to where the blackout occurred with DC All In Special. This is the book that I've been most excited about from DC Comics. Like, as soon as they announced it, knowing what was going to happen, knowing what's going on, this is the one. So it was announced some months ago that DC was going to be starting their Absolute Comics line. Pretty much what everyone's comparing it to is the Ultimate Marvel stuff, the Absolute DC stuff, an alternate universe, an alternate world where familiar heroes are going to have a different twist taken on them. And it's all going to be starting with this DC All-In Special. Now, I know that Batman, the Absolute Batman is the official first book that came out, but it all starts right here in this. And when this got announced and it got shown that it had the flip cover with your Absolute Universe characters on there, I was ridiculously excited. We got the premise of this book that it's going to be Darkseid's death is going to set off a chain of events. It's going to change the DC universe, and it did so. So today we're going to talk about what exactly happens in this book, why it's so important, and how it started the Absolute world and what exactly that is, because it does go back in some years and some ties to some other stories in DC Comics. So I'm going to do something a little different in this video. I'm going to kind of go through this book and kind of synopsize it or go through it with you. If you didn't read it, if you have no clue what's going on, by the end of this video, you'll know everything you need to know. So what we're going to be doing is flipping through the pages of this. And I'm just going to highlight and spotlight the special ones or the important ones. And then we'll talk about along the way how this event created the Absolute world and kind of discuss, is it in fact an alternate universe or a multiverse thing, or is it something different? So this book kicks off 52 days after the events of Absolute Power, the most recent DC Comics blockbuster event. Pretty solid. Go back and check it out. But we start with the Justice League reforming, coming together like butt cheeks, talking about how they're going to make a league bigger, stronger than before. And they have these ID cards as a symbol of your membership, and they're made with Bruce Wayne's tech and Mr. Terrific's tech and Green Lantern's power and all the magical user stuff. And then they issue the cards out, and Superman flies out himself to go hand a specific one to a specific member that really deserves the first-hand delivery, none other than Booster Gold. And he tells him to report to duty at the Watchtower of all places that's been reformed. And this is also important with moving forward because we know that we have that Justice League Unlimited coming soon. But he meets him there at the Watchtower. We get a fantastic large ensemble cast, and they're talking about the good they're going to do and this and that. When out of nowhere, all of a sudden, characters start talking backwards, start saying that, where is he? I want answers. Darkseid is. And through a boom tube, none other than Darkseid himself shows up, looking familiar, but a little bit different, donning a cloak, missing a hand with an axe in its place. And he was talking crazy. He just immediately starts fighting them. If it's a fight you want, so be it, but you'll have to tell me what was hidden from me. That this dialogue is important because it comes up later again in the book. You think he's talking to the Justice Leaguers during this fight. Turns out he's not. But after a little bit of magic hexing from Zatanna to Superman and a little dodge and a hit, he was able to take out Darkseid and untether him. So they found out in the middle of this fight that Darkseid was connected to the Spectre. He had the Wrath of the Spectre inside of him. It was tethered to him in this fight. Wicked cool. Super cool. And this is, again, it's just the important parts here. But after he hits him and he untethers the Spectre, he seemingly dies, thanking the Justice League for killing him. And they even talk about it like, yo, did he die? Did he say thank you to us? It was absolutely exciting moment. So in the aftermath, immediately following his death, there's a rift in time and space right there inside of the Watchtower as they reach out for some help on this one. And if you're dealing with Darkseid, there's nowhere you should go for help until you stop at the Fourth World New Genesis itself. So they got Orion also going to be featured in an upcoming comic by Rom V. So we have the New Gods returning. So all of the stuff that's coming is being influenced by this book already. But they're asking him if he knows anything about where Darkseid went. And he says, He's not back home. We have no sign of him, but Darkseid is a constant. All of creation needs a Darkseid. If he is truly gone, the universe will create a new one. So that's super important. And then they decide to kind of just keep looking at and studying the rift that's right there in the watchtower. And they said that it's kind of a doorway. And Superman asks Mr. Terrific, a doorway to what? And he said, ever since the multiverse was cut off, I've been studying its impact on our universe. And after Darkseid's death, I noticed something, a hidden world we found before has been activated. And Superman's response is the Elseworld, not an Elseworlds, not, oh, there's an Elseworld. No, the THE, the Elseworld, super duper important. And then they kind of go on from there to say, correct, the Alpha World. After Perpetua and the Darkest Night's defeat, our timeline was restored and we detected new worlds in the multiverse. When we first discovered this Alpha World, we couldn't see into it, but were able to deduce that it was in a primordial state and unfinished, close to our vibrational patterns, but new. And now it's changed. It's now a finished world that radiates the same kind of energy as Darkseid. So what they're talking about is Dark Knights of Steel, or Dark Knights Death Metal, the event from 2020, wrapped up in 2021. This right here is issue 7 of Dark Knight's Death Metal from January 2021. And in this book, we see Wonder Woman go all cosmic and have a talk with the Spectre, fight Perpetua, the Blackest Night, which was like the Batman Who Laughs, who went cosmic. And they were able to stop the bad guys and kind of the Earth's reconstituted. And after they did that, they took a look like in the same kind of deal where the Justice League is sitting around looking back at everything, trying to get all their ducks in order. They looked at the multiverse and they noticed different things about it, including that they discovered a disturbing thing, that Earth was no longer the center of the multiverse. And they figured out that they had detected not one center, but 2 sources of energy. And I think it was Talia, of all people, or Lady J, that said, we have to keep this a secret until we know more. Not like a secret from everybody, but we have to figure out what this is until we start sharing it. Hence why we haven't heard about it till now. But Martian Manhunter even came in and says they're opposites. And while they're far beyond our instruments, for now, we suspect at least one might be an Earth, but something we've never seen before, a kind of alpha world. For now, we're calling it the Elseworld. So it's been since 2021 since this was brought up, referenced, mentioned at all. But that's exactly what this world is. At the death of Darkseid, this alpha world that was unfinished is now available. It's now detectable. It's now finished. So we get more information on how Darkseid did. And that's where the second half of this book comes in. It is a flip book. You flip it over and we go back and look at Darkseid's journey. The second half of this book, illustrated by Wes Craig, takes us through the events that led Darkseid to his death and beyond. And this is where it gets pretty wicked cool, in my opinion here. So it cuts over to Darkseid 52 days earlier, and he has an idea. It has its duality story with the superheroes, but he wants to make a machine, and it gets into what the machine is later, but it requires his blood. So he cuts his hand off, feeds the machine. It isn't enough. He ends up killing his son Calabac, feeding the machine, turning it on. And once he has full power, once he feels ready that the machine is operational, he goes on a wild quest to hell, tearing it up, trying to find a specific individual. Where is he? Where is he? The rulers of hell bargain and plead with him. Can't get nothing from him. Just give him information and takes him to heaven of all places. Same thing. He tears it up to the point of them telling him where he needs to go. And he goes to the dark side of the moon and faces off against Eclipso in Eclipso's prime. He ends up boom tombing Eclipso to the middle of a sun and just takes him out. And there on Eclipso's little dark side of the moon, he finds a little underground place where he finds Jim Corrigan, the Spectre. And right before he gets what he wants from Jim Corrigan, the Quintessence show up, who's like the DC cosmic powerhouses. And they say they're going to stop him. And this is where the machine gets realized. He says that y'all can't stop me because I have the miracle machine. I've created one. I've activated it. I want to bond with the Spectre, and I'm going to use the miracle machine to do it. So he makes the wish, and I wish to bond with the Spectre. It takes him out full on. Spectre going into Darkseid was a whole moment. And from there, they start having this crazy metaphysical conversation, and they instantly pop up at the watchtower. Like they just they go there. So we see where this conversation is being had was between the Spectre and Darkseid. It wasn't even between the Justice League. And while there, you kind of get the truth behind Darkseid, that in any universe, in any creation, life will find a way. And the thing that embodies this life, this hope the most is Superman. And Darkseid is its equal opposite. And that no matter what, he is essential to the universe, and he will always be created. And there's also never been multiple Darkseids in the multiverse. So whenever there's these other worlds slowly start to create these other universes, his power kind of gets dispersed amongst it. So he wants to be the one all end all be all. And he found out when the multiverse was sealed off, he felt what it felt like to have his true power, his true potential again. So in this battle with Superman, when he finally realizes that these are the answers he's looking for, that he needs this closed off moment to not give his power out to this universe that requires him, that he's kind of a slave to his purpose, he finds a way around it, and he just lets it kill him. And then when he does, he let the Spectre be torn from me, and I open myself to death. And as I end, I begin again, but this time alone, bound by no relationships to Earth, to the Kryptonian, to anything. And so he literally creates himself into an Earth. Like he lets his essence, his being, his everything be consumed in this one world cut off. And this is the absolute world. This is the place where absolute Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman all take place. And it gives us our first little teaser of them. It says it's a world where heroes are born facing greater odds. Instead of being raised in paradise, they're raised in hell, where all their advantages are gone, where they are the small chaos rather than the system itself. A world where hope is the underdog, where it is the villain, the opposing force, and where it will have to burn brighter than ever before to survive at all. And then it even gives us a shot of the absolute characters for the first time making their first appearance in this book. Darkseid's happy with it. He realized, like, he gets in the details more about how it's everything that is, will be. He is that world, and it's going to be insane. To be on that world would be absolutely nuts. And someone decides to have to go there. After the Justice League are looking at what's going on with the world, they decide someone has to go through the rift and see what it is on the other side. Booster Gold gets elected, being a time traveler and the tachyon particles, blah, blah, blah. And he goes for it. They said, we'll give you a tracker. We'll put it in Skeets. Don't lose your little robot sidekick here, and we'll get you home. As soon as he lands, Skeets is gone, nowhere to be found. And he sees this crazy world, parademons flying everywhere. You see the Omega symbol. And he does make the comment that oh my God, I know where I am. I know when I am. I have to warn everyone. About that time, Omega beams start shooting off around him. A giant fist starts slamming down around him. He looks up in the sky to see like a sky-sized Darkseid with an entire legion of superheroes that look like they work for Darkseid. So it's going to be nuts. So this is the world that absolute Superman is going to be first shown on in a metropolis that has like Omega symbols on walls and stuff. It's nuts. It's absolutely wild. And it's super cool that it calls back and goes back as far back as 2021, January, even, with the finale to Death Metal. So a lot of time, effort, energy, care, and consideration has definitely gone into this. Joshua Williamson, Mark Waid being like chief architects of stories right now, doing so much at DC, I think is really helping it. The universe seems really tight, and this seems really awesome. I know this is a longer video. I don't want to go on much more than that, but I don't even think this is a multiverse. Like right now, it's all closed off. This is an opposite center of the universe kind of thing. I know that can be a little confusing. There can be only one center, but that's not actually the case. But I'm really excited for this. I know this video is like 3 weeks late, but I had to do it. I've read this book numerous times now. I'm still excited about it. Hate that I was blacked out, and I'll definitely be talking about this more in streams and stuff. But leave me a comment down below if you're excited for the DC All-In stuff. If you're picking up the Absolute stuff, there's a lot of Absolute content coming on this channel. This is going to be your one-stop shop for anything DC Absolute for sure. And until next time, as always, I'm Mark, but we are Legion.